So we saw the humane AI pin, which is just like barely a week old, and now this was posted. This was on TED Talks, presented TED Talks 12 years back.
Okay.
Very similar tech, very different inventor, not from Apple or not with humane. Yeah, look at that. 480p, you can't go higher. It's that word.
We grew up interacting with the physical objects around us, and there are enormous number of them that we everyday use. Unlike our most computing devices, these objects are much more fun to use with. When you talk about objects, one another thing automatically comes attached to that thing, and that is gestures, how we manipulate these objects, how we use this object in everyday life. We use gestures not only to interact with these objects, but we also use to interact with each other. Like gesture of namaste, maybe to respect someone, or maybe in India, I don't need to teach a kid that this means 4 run in cricket. It comes as a part of our everyday learning. So I'm very interested from beginning that how can our knowledge about everyday objects and the gestures and how we use this object can be leveraged to our interaction with the digital world. Rather than using a keyboard and mouse, why can I not use my computer in the same way that I interact in the physical world? So I started this exploration around 8 years back, and it literally started with a mouse on my desk. Rather than using that for computer, I actually opened it. And most of you might be aware that in those days, the mouse used to come with a ball inside, and there are 2 rollers that actually guides the computer that where the ball is moving, and accordingly where the mouse is moving. So I was interested in these 2 rollers. And I actually wanted more, so I borrowed another mouse from a friend, never returned him, and I have now 4 rollers. What interestingly I did with these rollers is basically, I took them off from these mouses and then put in a one line. It had some strings and pulleys and some spring. And what I got is basically a gesture interface device that actually acts as a motion sensing device made out of $2. So here, whatever movement I do in my physical world is actually replicated inside the digital world just using this small device that I made around 8 years back in 2000. Because I was interested in integrating these 2 worlds, I thought of sticky notes. I thought, why can I not connect the normal interface of physical sticky note to our digital world? A message written on a sticky note with my mom on a paper can come to an SMS, or maybe a meeting reminder automatically syncs with my digital calendar. And
nice.
A to-do list automatically syncs with you. But you can also search in the digital world, or maybe you can write a query saying, what is Dr. Smith's address? And this small system actually prints out. So it actually acts as a paper input-output system, just made out of paper. In one another exploration, I thought of making a pen that can draw in 3 dimensions. So I implemented this pen that can help designers and architects not only think in 3 dimensions, but they can actually draw so that it's more intuitive to use that way. Then I thought, why not making a Google map, but physical world? Rather than typing a keyword to find something, I put my objects on top of that. If I put a boarding pass, it will show me where is your flight gate. A coffee cup will show you where you can find more coffee, or where you can trace that cup. So this was some of the earlier explorations I did, because the goal was to connect these 2 worlds seamlessly. Among all these experiments, there was one thing very common. I was trying to bring a part of the physical world to the digital world. I was taking some part of the objects or anything intuitiveness of the real life and bringing them to digital world. Because the goal was to make our computing interfaces more intuitive. But then I realized that we human actually are not interested in computing. What we are interested is in information. We want to know about things. We want to know about dynamic things going around. So I thought about last year, in the beginning of the last year, I started thinking that why can I not take this approach in reverse way? Maybe how about I take my digital world and paint the physical world with that digital information?
Now see.
because pixels are actually right now confined in this rectangular devices that fits in our pocket. Why can I not remove this confine and take that to my everyday objects, everyday life, so that I don't need to learn the new language for interacting with those pixels? So in order to realize this dream, actually I thought of putting a big size projector on my head. I think that's why it's called head-mounted projector, isn't it? I took it very literally and took my bike helmet, put a little bit cut over there so that project actually fits nicely. So now what I can do, I can augment the world around me with this digital information. But later I realized that I actually wanted to interact with those digital pixels also. So I put a small camera over there that acts as a digital eye. Later we moved to a much better consumer-oriented pendant version of that many of you are now knowing as Sixth-Sense device. But the most interesting thing about this particular technology is that you can carry your digital world with you wherever you go with you. You can start using any surface, any wall around you as an interface. The camera is actually tracking all your gestures. Whatever you are doing with your hands, it's understanding that gesture.
Similar?
And actually, if you see, there are some color markers that in the beginning version we were using over there. You can start painting on any wall, that you stop by a wall and start painting on that wall. But we are not only tracking here one finger. We are giving you the freedom of using all the both of hands. So you actually can use both of your hands to zoom into or zoom out a map just by pinching operation over here. The camera is actually doing just getting all the images, it's doing the age recognition and also the color recognitions, and like so many small algorithms are going inside. So technically it's a little bit so complex, but it gives you an output which is more intuitive to use in some sense. But I'm more excited that you can actually take it outside.
He's so excited.
Rather than getting your camera out of your pocket, you can just do the gesture of taking a photo and it takes photo for you.
Yeah, no double tap.
Right? Thank you. And later,
His vision is ahead of its time, right?
Yeah,
and
look at
start
that.
browsing these photos, or maybe, okay, I want to modify this photo a little bit and send it as an email to a friend. So we are looking for an era where computing will actually merge with the physical world.
For that.
And of course, if you don't have any surface, you can start using your palm for simple operation. I'm here, I'm dialing a phone number just using my hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Projection on hand.
The camera is actually not only understanding your hand movements, but interestingly, is also able to understand what objects you are holding in your hand.
How much is this
what
for?
What we're doing here is actually,
Look at
for
that.
example, in this case, the book cover is matched with so many thousands of, or maybe millions of books online, and checking out which book it is. Once it has that information, it finds out more reviews about that, or maybe New York Times had a sound overview on that, so you can actually hear
It's exactly that.
as a review of a
See?
sound.
But this is more better. He has more
This
better
was
vision.
Obama's last visit last week
Thank
to
you,
MIT.
MIT. And in particular, I want to thank two outstanding MIT
So I was seeing the live.
I'm sure this is something it cannot do right now.
Newspaper.
Yeah.
Your newspaper will show you live.
This is very Harry Potter
rather than having updated
types, right?
Maybe a
Moving,
bit, maybe
in
a
order to do
newspaper and stuff.
yeah. But the book and then the information hand.
When I'm going back, I can just use my boarding pass and to check, oh, my flight has been how much delayed. Because at that particular time, I'm not feeling of opening my iPhone and checking out a particular icon.
Yeah.
And I think this technology will not only change the way, yes, it will change the way we interact with people also, not only the physical world. The fun part is like, I'm going to Boston.
Imagine if it says something unusual like, single and virgin.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the imagination is the only limit of what you can think of when this kind of technology merging with the real life. But many of you argue actually that all of our work is not only about physical objects. We actually do lots of accounting and paper editing and all this kind of thing. What about that? And many of you are actually excited about the next generation tablet computers to come out in the market. So rather than waiting for that, I actually made my own and just using a piece of paper. So what here I did is remove the camera. All the cameras, webcam, have a microphone inside that camera. I removed that microphone from that. And that, just pinch that, like I just make a clip out of that microphone and clip that to a piece of paper, any paper that you found around. So now the sound of the touch is exactly getting me when exactly I'm touching the paper. But the camera is actually tracking where my fingers are moving.
Very futuristic.
You can, of course, watch movies.
Good afternoon. My name is Russell, and I am a wilderness explorer in Tribe 54.
And you can, of course, play games. Here, the camera is actually understanding how you're holding the paper and playing the
And you just got the ally, right? Should have waited for this.
Many of you already
This
must
is
have
much
thought of
lighter.
browse. Yeah, of course, you can browse to any website. So you can do all sort of computing on a piece of paper wherever you need it. So, but more interestingly, I'm interested that how we can take that
so
in a more dynamic way. When I come back to my desk, I can just pinch that information back to my desktop so that I can use my full-size computer. And why only computers? We can just play with papers. Like paper world is interesting to play with. So here I'm taking a part of a document and
Reminds me of Dunder Mifflin.
From second place. And I'm actually modifying the information that I have over there. Yeah, and then I'm saying, okay, this looks nice. Let me print it out, that thing. So I have a now printout of that thing, and now, so the workflow is more intuitive the way that we used to do before, maybe 20 years back, rather than now switching between these two worlds. So as a last thought, I think that integrating information to our everyday objects will not only help us to get rid of the digital divide, the gap between these two worlds, but will also help us in some way to stay human, to be more connected to our physical world. And it will actually help us not end up being machines sitting in front of another machines. So that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very insightful. And, you know, you said this is really old. I'm just curious, like, what happened to this guy? Like, where is he now? What is he up to?
This is 13 years back.
Yeah.
So
Pranav Mistry, right?
First of all,
or the way their own sixth sense device.
well, I mean, what are your plans? MIT, India, how are you going to split your time going forward?
There is a lots of energy here, lots of learning, like all of this work that you have ever seen.
It's like they just picked up this. They used a bunch of brand new sensors. They used GPT to answer all of that. And they call it humane, not Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
so humane. So it's human, but it's beyond, they have actually technically played the same game. It's
with
humane.
the name, yeah.
Yeah, humane. It does exactly that. He has still a brilliant vision. It never came out to a proper product. He's still marked as an inventor of things. But yeah, maybe.
But to have this vision and, do whatever sort of experiments that he did with the limited resources that he had in his lab is commendable.
Yeah.
And to have this sort of thing when, like, iPhones were still just, something which was evolving. We used to still get, like, really thick phones with bad sensors and, like, not proper cameras. So I mean, it's commendable that somebody can, think that way.
So I don't think so. It went much further. Sixth Sense. I think, yeah, just based on funding and, who could, give, research for because it is half of it is realistic, half of it is imagination. That okay, let me drag my content, which is what we are doing inside Bing, by the way. If you have an image, you're dragging it into a Bing, you're taking the image text, you're putting it into Bing, you're exporting it as a Word document. So he's a scientist and an inventor. Star Labs.
Nice.
But yeah.
Right out of Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, what happened to Pranav Mistry? He served as the vice president of Samsung Electronics, followed by global Sumit of Star Labs. That's it.
He took an executive position and probably killed his dream of having something worthwhile.
Yeah, that's it. He's not involved in human, but yeah, they picked up what his ideas were. This is all old articles, absolutely old stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of his vision, which is now very realistic. The whole gesture on the hand, exactly what humane AI pin is doing, and maybe the further iterations will go into exploring brighter projections. Maybe they bring back the screen, in this way. Who knows? Humane might want to do that.
Yeah, we do have those flexible screens now. So maybe you don't really need a projection. Maybe just like
And
a thinner battery would help.
and his application of if I have a book, then get me the reviews, get me some quick, sometimes you always want quick understanding of what that book is about, rather than, that's $24 and buy me that book. That was too transactional. There was no meaning of, okay, that book is there, what is it all about, and this thing, that thing. They didn't have
the summary, right?
I mean, I'm sure with GPT you can, but the demo didn't have that explanation.
Yeah, demo did not.
I'm sure it can do all this, but yeah.
I'm sure, the reason for not saying that out loud would be that if it gives away the plot of the book and stuff, maybe they'll invite some,
Yeah, I can always tell GPT that, okay, give me, write me a summary without any spoilers of some sort, or some review by somebody, about it. Yeah, but yeah.
Without spoiling the book.
But yeah, this is TED,
I mean,
and this is him on the, and then it's a standing ovation. And I think at a point he did join Microsoft also. And then, so I remember him. Yeah, see, Pranav started his career as an intern in Microsoft, and then he worked for Google, NASA, UNESCO. I mean, that dude is brilliant. But known.
What does this space? Sorry, not space, but this Star Labs. What does that do?
Star Labs is now Samsung Technology and Advanced Research Labs.
Okay. I thought it was right out of Flash.
Yeah, because
I wonder
Samsung has
if
this...
somebody is working on, some superhero powers or something like that.
Neon, an artificial human project. Okay. We know this. We know this. But this is not the...
Welcome to this guy. He's makes more sense based on your interaction.
These are AI-based bots called custom avatars and all that stuff, but not that disruptive tech that he talks about.
Yeah, it's not
Neon AI. Yeah, I think
it's
whatever he dropped or whatever that didn't happen into reality eventually became humane, and hopefully he finds out. Pranav Mistry, wherever you are listening to this video, we'll try to tag you in some way, and go at humane. Go chase them, because this is your tech. This is what
it's a very
his
good,
vision
very polished, but a good derivative of the stuff that he talked about.
13 years, and he needs to have credit, or he needs to be involved and all of that. So yeah,
maybe definitely. He is it's just
there is no reference. There's no reference anywhere about Sixth Sense being the maybe the earlier, as they say, the beta or any of that, and then eventually being called humane. They always have code names for these projects, or they have the inventor. So these two folks are saying they are the ones who invented it. But yeah, if you look at it, they just got inspired.
Maybe just based on patterns, the technology which is using.
Yeah,
and
maybe it's his vision, but these guys actually converted it to an actual product. But yeah, still very, very similar. I remember this from 10 years back. for me, it just hit me just now. So like, hang on, this is exactly the same tech. So look at that.
One question for you: $699. That is just a device cost. $24 a month.
Yeah.
In obviously like the service charge and like the using cost for AI. Is it worth it?
No, it should be a one-time thing. Why would you want to get tied into another kind of a thing, which might they'll just say, okay, we have released something more, and next year it's 30,
Yeah, then
and next year it is something more,
is
and it's your, I mean, you want an iPhone. Not, you don't necessarily need an iCloud. You want Google, you want an Android phone, but you don't need Google One necessarily. So you don't want to necessarily pay. You
correct.
can do your own physical world offline storage or offline this, that. You don't want to get tied into another subscription. You already have a bunch of video streaming. You have a bunch of these books and memberships and all of that. This is just, them trying to hook you on. Of course, see, they have an expense happening on the AI tech.
Research, yeah.
Yeah. So
Research.
$699.
And plus whatever they are paying to OpenAI.
So it shouldn't be
Two things,
$699.
right?
It has to be drastically lower, very similar to how the costing of Starlink satellites came to be. So Starlink satellites were sold to users at some $200, $300, very less, but the manufacturing cost in the very beginning was very high. What Starlink sells is internet. So they have an internet subscription. What they did is they kept it $200, $300 in US and Canada, but they went to other countries where they want to expand, and economic adjustments of the costing. So they did it for $100. They did it for $150. It's like a printer. You sell the HP printer, you're hooked in, and then the subscription, the cartridges or something that you keep paying for, the subscription. So this device technically from Humane should cost $299 max, because it's very less, or the tech on its own is doing whatever it is doing, but it is not storing offline. You're really paying that monthly subscription to store everything online, and how do you take it off? So it should not be $699 for sure. Let it be whatever new tech. If you want people to just drop whatever they have and run there, it should be a very, very tempting $249 price point, where they say, okay, I need that.
But these people are from Apple. Do you really think they'll settle for $249 or $299? I doubt.
Yeah, I'm sure
Money
the
grabbers, man.
next iterations. This is a research costing that they have put together. They have to make sure their research done on this device has to first expense out in the first few iterations, and then the next version, as it comes out 2, 3, the price will go down. Let's just like the Tesla. So they took the Lotus body, they made the first Tesla, and then it got cheaper. It got way cheaper as it from 300 to 200 to 100. Yeah. So the mass scale less research, but yeah, if you look, they have used a lot of Sixth Sense, a lot of Pranav's ideology and vision, and converted that, and then assuming they want to milk people from $649 and a $24 subscription too. So it should be just be 24. That's fine, but reduce the price so that everybody starts dropping what they have. I don't want all this. I don't want a GoPro. I don't want a phone. I will go for this device. That's it, and my 24 is fine. Something like that.
Yeah.
So something that is.
And one thing that we missed out is like the complete functionality, and I believe like irrespective of whatever they are trying to fix with modern computing devices, what I feel is that without a screen, it's just not going to satisfy like the majority of the folks. I mean, any conscious person would be using this, but at the same time, you're not reducing screens by any means. You still have your laptops, you still have your televisions,
Every
not
selfie and every
getting rid
photo,
of them.
every selfie, every photo
Yeah.
you take, right? You want a preview.
Correct.
You take your GoPro out, but you want to see the time lapse. You want to see that shot. You can just double
Correct.
tap and assume it is going to be something.
Yeah.
You just double tap. That's
So
it. And you're blind. You have no idea. You have no idea what is the output all about.
exactly. So it is limited. I
It's
mean,
like the
if you just want to use it as like a mobile phone, just to make calls, just to use that AI element that it has for the day-to-day task. But if you want to capture proper photographs and watch it with your friends and family, it's not the right thing.
It's like
Maybe a new next iteration probably should fix that. Maybe projecting the screen that you've just shot the picture and it's just projecting that, and maybe like the display.
and I'm sure they must have
This
already
feels like Nokia.
done the invention of these additional items, but they want to have
Correct.
just let's release the first one, let's have it minimum capability, and people will go mad, and then we have to have something that we release with the next version. So let's hold those items that we know are good, but let's release them the next year. Yeah, then
Agreed.
AI pin 2, AI pin 3, then hang on, oh wow, now we have a color display. Then we can, we can project not just
Reinventing the wheel, right?
like, and not only
In terms of
dot matrix or the display that they're doing on the phone, it'll be a color display, and the lag between the phone, the display reacting to your hand gesture, all of that, all those iterations will come. It sounds good, but yeah, let's see.
yeah, nice chat.
Yeah, good stuff, interesting stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, all right. End.